webinar is all about matters of the heart, healing emotional wounds through compassion. So the question is, we've welcomed you. Are you ready to heal your heart? And as Jax mentioned, it is quite a sensitive, we're now going to delve into a very personal space. And we want you to know that this space is gentle, it's safe, and it's compassionate. And I always start, yes.
I just want to add, it's more than just gentle and compassionate. It's actually sacred. So, like when we actually open up and go into the heart space, we're entering sacred territory. So I really, really hold this as a sacred container where we're going tonight.
Great. Thanks, Jax. So I always start off the webinars with a little quote that I find that's relevant for the content that we're going to go through. And this one popped up. Words of kindness are more healing to a drooping heart than balm or honey. And if you think about it, we're talking about compassion. And it's not about us being compassionate towards other people. We're talking about us being compassionate towards ourselves. Most of the time we can be compassionate and kind and considerate for other people, and we look at other people in a more softer light. We're not so harsh on other people, but we're very harsh on ourselves. And here tonight, we're changing that. We're looking within with compassion, and compassion is so close to kindness. So that's why this popped out. Yeah, for this. Okay, so we are creating a container, and the container is all about setting a gentle agreement, or I want you to make a commitment to yourself. We're making a commitment to you as well, that you're always in control. There's no need to share anything personal. Take what feels right, leave the rest, and always compassion over judgment. I think that point number 4 is probably the hardest point. So we don't want to dig into personal, painful stories tonight. If at any point you feel that it's too much, what you can do is you can simply open your eyes, breathe, or step away, switch off your camera, whatever feels comfortable for you. But we want to reassure you that this is a safe space. There's no pressure to share anything. There's no pressure whatsoever to feel anything. But part of this is also about creating awareness and giving you something that you can use in your everyday life.
Okay, I just also want to say that if you do feel called to share, we are here to hold the space for that as well. So if you're not comfortable, we respect that. But if you do want a compassionate holding space, you are welcome to share. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's firstly talk about why the heart. Jackson and I chose this topic specifically because it's February. And in February, it's always known as the month of love, Valentine's Day and all of that. But the heart is so much more than that. We going beyond the Valentine's days, etc., and looking within. Why have we chosen the heart, and why does emotion sit in your heart and hold you back? It can hold you back. It can free you. There's good and bad emotion, but why the heart? Do you want to talk a bit about this, Jax? I know that the heart, Jax's name, or I don't know what you call it, is Jax the artist.
Mm.
which is it's a play on words between heart and art, because Jax is very passionate about matters of the heart, and she's also an artist.
So I think, Caro, the heart and how we store emotions, I think the heart is actually an electromagnetic organ. And we think we've only got one brain, but we've actually got multiple brains in our body. And there are many, many nerve endings that live in the center of our chest. It's a really, really sensitive area from an electromagnetic
Mm.
perspective, connects us to everything. And I also think our heart is where we hold what is dear to us, what really, really matters, our values, our priorities. And so when we have wounds in the heart, it's normally something that's really, really close. It's close to the core of who we are. And so that's where we are deeply, deeply vulnerable, is in this heart center.
Mm.
And it's everything to do with connection, relationships, love, feeling safe in the world. We feel that all in our heart center. And if we haven't healed our hearts, then often we put what we call heart walls, shields, protection mechanisms. So we walk around in the world with something that shields us, and we block ourselves from the world around us, and that can be quite isolating. And also, if we've got unprocessed pain, it means that we've still got unresolved patterns. That means that if we haven't processed what's there, we're going to keep repeating the same patterns over and over and over again. So we have to learn how to sit with what's there and move through it and process it and heal it and open it up, put ointment in there, put bandages and let it heal so that we can walk through the world open with discernment.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Jax. I was also thinking, when you're interacting with other people and somebody, it could be a friend, it could be a loved one, someone really hurts you, says something that hurts you. Where do you feel that hurt? You feel it right here in your heart, you know? So the heart is where you feel that hurt. And then if someone really hurts you badly, I've had experiences in the past where I've been really, really hurt and rejected by people. And I caught myself in a behavioral pattern, which we will talk about, a little bit later. But I was pushing people away. I didn't allow people to come close to me, and I was protecting my heart. So what I did was instead of allowing people to come close to me and bonding with them, making more friends, I rather put this wall around me. I was like an ice princess, and friendly everything to people, but I don't let them close. Why? Because I did not want to feel and experience that hurt again. And it was still sitting in my heart. I hadn't processed it. And we'll Jackson and I are going to share our some of our stories and our experiences. We've had some profound experiences together. When we've taken a group to Bali last year, we had some really, really huge awakening experiences as well, which we're going to start sharing in stories. But the bottom line is, until I started doing the work and I faced up to that hurt, it's almost like you've got to look at it and say, hey, I recognize you, you there, until you do that, it's almost like you're trying to put it away, hide it. You want to hide it. It's like hiding something under the carpet, and all it does is get moldy, you know? So your heart harbors things, such strong emotions. And if you want to change your patterns, like find that person to love for the rest of your life or have more friends, you need to start looking in towards your heart because probably there's something there that needs to be processed.
I've got, can I add something,
Cool.
Kara?
Yes.
So it's not only in relationship, but also because it's energy, right? We are made up of energy. Everything is energy. So if we have heart blocks or heart walls, we can't allow business opportunities in, clients in, money flow. If you're blocking here, you can't manifest anything. You're blocking the flow. The second point I wanted to make is it's not just the front of your heart that can have wounds. Sometimes it sits in the back of our hearts. So if there's pain in the sort of shoulder blades, between the shoulder blades, someone stabbed you in the back, that is also a heart wound. And it can be something that has happened in the past that is still affecting your present. So it's just to be aware somatically that if there's pain in the back, it can actually be a heart wound.
Thank you, Jax. That's actually really interesting because one of my pains that I have consistently is in my spine at the back between my angel wings because I'm an angel, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And
Yes, you
that
are.
is precisely the spot that you're talking about right now, you know. So interesting.
Mm.
Okay, so let's talk about compassion. So we've talked why the heart. Now, what is compassion? Does anyone want to share what your interpretation of compassion is and your understanding?
Mm.
What is compassion if you break it down and you start thinking about it? Mark, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to do that. It's got a different interpretation of compassion.
Mm,
It's your understanding of somebody else's problem and you're not getting yourself involved. That could also be termed as compassion. If you talk about self-compassion,
mm.
is not getting involved in, as you were saying, other people's energies and taking those energies on.
That's great. It's a bit different to what I think of compassion. And very interesting point, not taking other people's energies on. I actually quite like that. Jermaine?
Um, yeah, compassion and empathy always confuse me. Um, so, um, to get back to what Mark was saying, is I thought that empathy was the one where you feel light and love and grace and kindness for someone, but almost protect yourself. Whereas compassion, I think, gets messy, um, and you get entangled. Um, but the bottom line, whether it's compassion or empathy, it's that gentleness, it's that gentleness, that kindness, that wanting to almost, imagine having a little child sitting on your lap and you holding them, cuddling them, or a little baby and you rubbing its back and it's in your shoulder. Yeah, just being kind and patient and loving and light and graceful and kind to someone. But I'm very aware of becoming entangled. So that's why I'm trying to
Mm,
differentiate the compassion, empathy scenario. And when is it about self and when is it about others? So compassion towards myself versus compassion towards someone. Yeah. Don't
that's
know
a
if that makes
very
any
interesting
sense.
point. Empathy versus compassion. So You actually made me curious to look up on my phone what's the difference between the two. And this is what Dr. Google has to say about empathy versus compassion. Empathy is the gateway to compassion. It's understanding how someone feels and trying to imagine how that might feel if you were in their shoes. So it's a mode of relating to someone else. Whereas compassion takes it further. It's actually feeling what that person is feeling, holding it, accepting it, and taking some kind of action. So the literal meaning of compassion is to suffer together. And emotion, when it comes to emotions, researchers have defined it as the feeling that arises when you're confronted with another or someone suffering. So to put it into your own context, you're confronted with your own suffering within your heart, okay? And you feel motivated to relieve that suffering. So you want to then help to resolve it and so that the suffering is no longer there. So I think that that's quite an interesting definition of the concept of empathy versus compassion, and then to explain what compassion actually is.
So, Kara, I just want to speak about compassion for others versus self-compassion, and where too much compassion for others can lead to not enough compassion for yourself, like self-abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially as empathic people, we often hold a lot of space for other people's suffering. And it's about just the attunement to sort of where does compassion for others become self-abandonment? And it's just staying attuned to that. When am I starting to lose myself to be the good person or the understanding person or the compassionate person, but my own needs are actually not being met? And so I'm starting to lose myself. So that's the work that I'm doing at the moment is, sometimes you have to be a little bit harder to be compassionate to yourself, to heal your own self. So
okay, so let's talk about the role of compassion when it comes to healing your heart. It's actually the gateway to healing. So healing, to heal that hurt in your heart. If you can imagine that you're in a situation where you feel it here in your heart and somebody has hurt you and you want to now clear that hurt. Maybe you've been harboring it for a while, and this is just an example. You don't have to actually relive the whole situation where, that brought the hurt on in the first place. That's the first thing. So you don't have to go back there and relive it, okay? Because that is very painful. But what compassion does is it creates safety in the nervous system. And it is a process. It's going to take a while, but you have to learn a new set of behaviors in being kind to yourself, being understanding, and not judgmental to yourself. This is what compassion is. Compassion is seeing the suffering and the hurt that you're feeling inside, and then being kind to yourself to process through it and to remove it, like detoxing your heart of this darkness that's been sitting there. So compassion creates a safe environment for your nervous system, which then allows your emotions to soften and shift. Is there something that you'd like to add to this, Jax?
Yeah, I think often we avoid what is hard to sit with. So we're really, really good as human beings at finding ways to distract ourselves from our pain, by busying ourselves. And so I think compassion is non-judgment. You know, in the moment where you say you're not looking for the flaws, and you're not judging yourself, you're looking at yourself with soft eyes, gentle eyes, that creates a space for what's difficult and where we're suffering to actually surface itself, versus we know it's going to be hard to process, so we just avoid it, and we're quite hard on ourselves, and that prevents us from healing. So I think when we soften and are compassionate and make space for our shadowy stuff, our flaws, without judgment, then it can come up for us to sit with it in presence, so that it can actually be processed.
Absolutely. And because compassion creates a safety, it's like a safety net, creating warmth and soft, softness and kindness. When your body feels safe, then change starts to happen naturally. And that's the first thing that people need to acknowledge, actually. A lot of us are so impatient. We live in a world of instant, you've got instant coffee, you've got instant gratification on gaming and the internet. You can find anything, you just ask Google and you can find anything instantly. And we're living in an instant society right now. And when it comes to this kind of work, we've got to also be patient with ourselves, because it takes time. It takes time to learn new behaviors. And if you're used to being very, very judgmental to yourself and very hard on yourself, to learn to have compassion is going to take time. So that is also part of the process.
I think it's also part of the journey of learning to love yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Because actually, we're awesome. Each of us on this planet are awesome. We're here for a reason and a purpose. Anyway, so now that we've covered the basics, what we want to do is we want to introduce you to a short practice that you can introduce into your daily life. Now, we'll talk about how you can use it in your daily life. But the first thing we want to do is just quickly explain it to you, and then we're going to go through it and give you the opportunity to work through something that is sitting within your heart right now. Okay. So this exercise doesn't take a long time. It's an NLP-based technique, that's neuro-linguistic programming. If you've got the script for it, you can use it anytime in your life when you find that you're grappling with something that's sitting here in your heart. It takes 3 to 5 minutes. So it's not something that you have to carve out a huge chunk of your day, and you can do it absolutely anywhere. You don't have to relive your story that brought you to that point of pain or hurt or whatever it is you're trying to clear. All you need is awareness to be able to breathe, give yourself a safe space where nothing's going to distract you from this process, and a clear intention. Okay, so now we're going to go through the guided practice. Jax, you've got such a beautiful voice for this kind of thing.
Thanks, Caro. So I think before we start, I think it's just useful or nice to have something that you want to work with, like a recent trigger, like something that has actually upset you, hurt you, or something from the past where you're still sitting with pain in your heart. Anxiety we often feel in our heart center as well, and fear we sit with in our heart center as well. Overwhelm. So any one of those, that needs a little bit of processing. So as and when you're ready and you've got something, if you do want to share it, you're welcome to pop it in the chat. If you don't, no need. You can just work with what's coming up for you. And I'm going to ask you just to close your eyes and make yourself comfortable. Okay. And I'm going to ask you to bring your awareness to your feet, the place where your feet meet the floor. And take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. And what I'm going to invite you to do is, if the feeling feels so big and overwhelming and tears are coming up, just hold the tears and keep breathing. Okay, it's through using the breath that we actually process the emotion that's coming up. So no matter what comes up, just keep breathing in through your nose. Okay, it's a very good way to keep your nervous system calm. In through your nose, out through your nose. Long, deep, slow breaths. In through your nose and out through your nose. And then just let your shoulders drop down and relax. And with every breath, just feel yourself getting a little bit more relaxed. Now I'm going to invite you to place your right hand on your heart. And what that offers is just a little bit of support. Your heart knows when you are holding it, so that it doesn't feel so alone as you process something that's difficult. And simply just notice the warmth or the pressure underneath your hand. You don't have to change anything. Like, just notice and keep breathing. So in through your nose, out through your nose. Now, just to yourself, you can ask yourself, and this is where we acknowledge what it is that we're actually feeling. What emotion does my heart need compassion for right now? Just give yourself some space to allow the word or that feeling to surface that is needing compassion. You don't need a story. You just need the word. It might be sadness, could be a heaviness, tension, a fatigue. It could be nothing. You might be feeling numb in your heart. So just notice whatever the word is or the feeling is that reveals itself and wants to be acknowledged. Now you're going to soften everything by imagining your breath flowing directly in and out of your heart. So with your next breath that you take in, just imagine it flowing into your heart and out of your heart. And with every exhale, imagine that emotion softening, not disappearing, just becoming gentler. Just notice with every breath how it softens. On the in-breath and the out-breath. So as you create spaciousness around this emotion, it begins to soften. And you can say silently to yourself, I see you. You're allowed to be here. And just keep breathing. And now we're going to create something called an anchor. Okay, so just notice where you're feeling that softness in your body. And we're going to create an anchor that you can use anytime you feel that feeling coming up in your body. So gently press your hand into your heart and take one deep breath. And this becomes your compassion anchor. So anytime emotions arise, you can repeat this gesture and breathe, just like we've been breathing now. And your nervous system will remember this calm, relaxed, spacious, soft state. Ready? Just slowly and gently start pulling your awareness back into the here and now. Just become aware of the chair beneath you. You can rub your palms together. Can just massage your face a little bit, just to bring you back into your physical body. And as and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back, everybody.
That was amazing.
Cool. How's everyone feeling?
More relaxed.
Good.
Joe?
Sleepy. I
Sleep?
got like there's like, a relief. Like when you get into bed after a long day, like the mattress just holds you. That's how I'm feeling.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Sure. That's a lovely
Great.
description. Now I want to go to bed.
After the webinar, you can.
Okay. Right. So the beauty is that you can do this and you can use it at home. Firstly, you've created an anchor, right? So if you feel and you put your hand, if that's the anchor that you created, you might have decided to do something different. But Jack's guided us to hold your hand over your heart and to create the anchor. And what that means is that when you're feeling overwhelmed or hurt or something like that, you just put your hand over your heart, close your eyes, breathe like we were breathing for a few minutes, a minute or two. It doesn't need to take a lot of time, but your nervous system will automatically calm. This calm will come back to you. So it is actually a very, very powerful tool. So this is just to reiterate, you can use the compassion reset, putting your hand over the heart and breathing like this when emotions feel overwhelming. If you've had a fight with someone or you're emotionally triggered, someone has rubbed you up the wrong way. Even if you're going into a situation where you have to have that difficult, you have to take someone on head on about an issue. It's like you're creating conflict. Most of us don't want to create conflict. We want to, avoid conflict, but unfortunately that doesn't resolve everything. So if you're going into a situation and you know that there is going to be conflict, but this needs to be said, you can keep your emotions calm and your nervous system calm by just placing your hand over the heart. Even if you're mid conversation with somebody and you do this, it can actually help reset your system. Before sleep, if you're struggling to sleep and you've got all those, stress and or things running around in your head, this can help you to calm and to fall asleep as well. And when you start seeing those old patterns resurface. So it really is a powerful tool. And what I'd suggest you do, we're going to send out a link so that you can watch this video. Keep it at hand so that you can go back and watch it. We could even share the script. I don't know, Jax, if you're happy to do that. We can share the script with you so that if you do need to do like reinforce the trigger, your anchor, or you want to do the entire process again, you've got the script so that you can talk yourself through it at home. So we'll do that.
What I want to say, Caro, is you don't have to wait for an emotional trigger to build this pathway. You can actually, if you practice it as a regular thing, just putting your hand on your heart and taking a deep breath, you are building your emotional resilience before you even get triggered. You're teaching your nervous system to stay in compassion. You don't need to wait for somebody to upset you to build this heart compassion. And the more you build it, that starts becoming your base state of operating in the world. Because you can feel how it strengthens your heart when you put your hand on your heart and you breathe. It's like, so when you practice that, you're building your emotional resilience, your emotional strength. In the event that something should trigger you, you've already got resource in your backpack, in your heart center. Yeah.
Can I ask something quickly?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was just thinking in my line of work and well, the one part of my work, I have many roles, but I was just wondering, and I feel embarrassed, and I recognize that's judgment, that I could use this before I see a client. Hey, Jax.
Absolutely. So what you're
Yeah.
doing is you're almost protecting, you are strengthening your field, and especially as someone who's empathic, right? Who takes on other people's energies. As empaths, we often our boundaries are a little bit porous. So when you actually build this compassion for yourself before you go in to engage with other people, it sort of strengthens your field around you. So then you can be more compassionate to them without actually taking on their energy, because you've created a little bit of protection around your heart center. Yeah.
You also tend to think more rationally, you're more focused, and you can handle situations a lot better if you're able to control those emotions. So this is very, very useful when it comes to conflict situations, even going in to see a brand new client that you've never met before and you stressed about the outcome, or you're nervous about meeting somebody new and you're not sure how they're going to take it. It just calms everything down.
Yeah, I mean, imagine because as empaths, we are tuned to other people's emotions, right? So imagine you feel anxiety, but you're attuned to it, right? So you feel the emotion and you say, oh, I'm anxious. And then you put your hand on your heart and you even ask yourself the question, is this mine? Is this my anxiety, or am I actually picking up somebody else's? And if it's like it's not mine, you can say, okay, thank you, give it back, and then you just strengthen your heart. And if it is yours, you're like, okay, well, something's up here, I'd best pay attention because there's a reason. Like our heart often tells us in the field that something is going on before our conscious mind is even aware of it. So like just to be attuned into the heart center is really useful because it's giving us information all the time.
Great. So we've already started a bit of the reflection and the sharing, but these are questions that you can ask yourself whenever you do this exercise as well. The first is, what did you notice in your body? And this is a very important question because your emotions sit in your body in different places. You can have aches and pains, you can feel discomfort. Maybe you suddenly can't talk, like you feel like you can't express your words or you can't breathe properly. So the first thing is, what did you notice in your body? Has something released? Is your body telling you something? Did anything shift? Like you said, you want to, you felt like you were in bed on this beautiful, comfortable bed, and it was just so amazing. So, does that mean that you shifted from a state where you were, a little bit wired and, you've had a stressful day, and now we did the exercise, and suddenly you're like, I'm actually I can go to sleep now. Recognize the shift. Some of them will be very, very slight, but sometimes you'll have a really epic shift. And there's no need to explain. One word is enough.
So what's interesting, Caro, is I'm noticing myself yawning quite a lot. So guys, it's not because I'm bored or I'm tired.
Yeah.
What that means is my nervous system is actually processing something. I've like brought my awareness to my heart. My heart has acknowledged there's some sadness here. I've started a process to release, and the way our body rewires is actually yawning. It's a way of rewiring a pattern. So if you notice yourself yawning, don't try to stop yourself. Allow that process to continue and just know your nervous system is rewiring a pattern.
That's awesome. You're going to make me yawn now.
Good. Good. Yawning is brilliant for rewiring.
Okay, so why does this actually work? We're going to just quickly go through, the almost science behind this. It is actually science. It's how your body works, and your body and your mind works together. The first thing is that awareness is change. It's the first step towards change. You cannot change something that you don't know is there. And if you start becoming aware of patterns in behavior, something that you're doing that you can't explain. Like I was desperate, desperate, desperate. I wanted friends. I wanted people to accept me. And it wasn't happening. And then I realized, oh, it's not happening because I don't actually let them in. I go and meet these people, and it's like, hey, I've got your phone number. And then by the time I realize 3-4 weeks go by, I haven't even reached out to that person and said hi. It doesn't always have to be the other person to reach out to me. So I started picking up a behavior that I was doing. So becoming aware of your behavioral patterns, things that you can't explain, even if it's something that's happening, you're really, really wanting something and you're not sure why you're not getting it. Often it stems back to an emotion that's sitting somewhere that's unprocessed, that you've decided, or your subconscious mind has decided, you don't need that emotion anymore. So it hides it away, packs it under a lot of stuff. And then you don't know that it's sitting there, but it is sitting deep down there, and it's affecting every single decision and the way that you act every single day. So becoming aware of your behaviors, becoming aware and recognizing and saying, hi, to that emotion, that's sitting there. That is your first step towards healing. And the second thing is going through this process that Jax has just run us through. We created a safe space for ourselves, right? We felt safe. And the change in your state happens when you feel safe. Like you would never have gone from being stressed at the end of your day to feeling like you're on this beautiful, comfy bed, nice and relaxed, if you didn't feel safe in this environment that you created. Okay. And this anchor that you created as well makes healing possible no matter where you are in your everyday life. So don't forget that anchor. Reinforce it every now and then, because it's a beautiful way to calm yourself down. I call it calm your farm.
So, Kara, I just want to say that the more trauma someone has been through in their life, the more you have to work on creating safety in your nervous system. Because you have to almost retrain your nervous system to recognize that you're actually safe. And often we walk through the world and we want other people to make us feel safe. And if we've been traumatized, often other people do not feel safe because of our earlier sort of experiences and traumas. So from childhood, we sort of started feeling the world isn't safe. So you then on hyper alert and your nervous system is always on, looking for what's out to get me. And that's often where that low-lying level anxiety sort of comes from. So when we actually start doing this practice to create safety in the nervous system, then we don't get as triggered by things in the external world, because we're creating this internal sense of peace and safety and strength and groundedness, that then we can walk through the world with a lot more confidence.
Yeah. So, yeah, and what we've experienced this evening is actually the foundation of our work. We do a lot of these kind of exercises, not only with the breath work and the NLP, but also through creative processes, art, having fun. Hey?
Nature, movement.
This is what the soul healing community is all about. And it's our gift to you. Okay, so what's next? Jackson, I just want to share a few of the things that are happening in soul healing community. So the first is that we have a membership plan. So everybody who joins a webinar or a heart walk or one of our events will automatically join as a Soul Tribe free member, which means that you can, get access to our webinars and on our mailing list, and we send out some useful tips and information, etc., and first-hand knowledge of any exciting things that we're going to be running, so you can have first option to book. And then we've got 2 membership tiers which have varying benefits, including discounts on our retreats, etc. And we're going to be doing group coaching calls and resonance repatternings. We're busy at the moment developing an online system. Jackson and I are really, really excited about this. So the membership portal is not active yet. It's in development. And what we're going to have inside there is a bunch of online courses that can help you in, very common issues that people have every single day of their lives. So it's practical courses and coaching programs online that you can do in your own time. And then it's a combination of one-on-one healing sessions or group activities, etc. So we will be sharing more of this with you as soon as the portal's ready, so you can hop on and join us on this journey. Do you want to say anything more before we move on to the next exciting bit? Okay, so our next event is our Heart Walk, and that's going to be on the 15th of Sunday, the 15th of February. So in Gauteng, it's going to be at the Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens, and in Cape Town, we're going to do it on the Park Track. And every month, sort of the middle Sunday of every month, Jackson and I are going to be running a Heart Walk, one in Cape Town, one in Gauteng, either Joburg or Pretoria. And it's an opportunity to get together, to share. It's not a hectic hike or anything like that. This is about soul connection. It's about healing your heart. It's about getting out into nature, making a difference. So what we've also decided, you'll see on the we're charging an entry fee of 150 Rand. So that will cover any entry fees into wherever we're going. And if there's anything specific on the activity, but the proceeds of this 150 Rand, anything over and above the entry fees, is going to be donated to a charity organization of our choice. And for Cape Town, what we've decided, because we've got a lot of things to do here without entry fees, the reason why we're charging this is for a commitment fee, because once people pay for something, they take it more seriously. We are creating these opportunities for people to connect so that you can get out into nature. You don't have to be alone. You can find your soul tribe. Come and join us. And every single Heart Walk will have a specific theme. So it will be something small that you can learn and that you can implement into your everyday life. And that we'll have a discussion around. But for Cape Town, we've decided to donate the proceeds to the KJ Foundation, which is a foundation that was formed by a mother whose son committed suicide, a young teenager. And so she started this foundation to help the youth to cope with mental health issues. And the whole way that they're doing this is by introducing music programs into schools. So it's just an amazing, amazing project. And you can go onto their website and see what they're all about. And in Gauteng, Jax, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what your project is.
Well, we have different projects. So like Jo knows, because she came with, we cleaned up some dry riverbeds that were full of junk. So it's like cleaning up the waters of the planet. It's a theme. Every month there's a different theme. On Women's Day, maybe we'll do something around breast cancer. I was approached by a mammography center, and they maybe want to send someone to talk to us as women about that. Youth Day, we're going to be taking a group of youth out for a walk with us. So just different things every month, but it's always something that has a little bit of give back, a bit of making a difference as well as connecting when the opportunity arises. But you know what? There's so much joy just in being out in nature and connecting with a lovely, warm, caring community who's becoming friends. And then what we'll do with the funds that we gather at the end of the year is we'll decide on a cause, and we'll donate it to a cause. Either whether it's one of the nature reserves or one of the youth foundations. There's no shortage of people who need support.
Absolutely. So that's our next event on the 15th. If you can make it, please sign up and we'll share the details. We'll send out an email with a link to the replay, and we'll share the details of how to sign up for the Heart Walks. The next project that we're working on, our big project, is our Breathe retreat. So initially we were going to only do this in the Western Cape, and then Jackson and I decided, you know what? This is so needed in our world. Just taking time out to be still, to breathe, to reconnect with yourself. So we're running this. Jax will be running it in Gauteng, and I will be running it down here in Cape Town. We're busy with the finalizing of all the costings, but the dates are the 24th to the 27th of April. So it's from the Friday to the Monday. It's 3 days, full days, and 3 nights. And it's going to be fully inclusive of all meals and activities on the retreat. And we are going to some very nice venues that we found with beautiful accommodation and in nature. If any of you want to come to Cape Town, we're going to Elandsbaai, and we're going to be right there on the beach and in a nature reserve. So that is going to be awesome. So watch this space. We're going to be announcing and launching bookings within the next, I'd say, week to 10 days.
Where did your audio go?
My audio.
Can't hear you. So in Gauteng, we're going to Buddhistrom, which is close to Hartbeespoort.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says my internet's unstable.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to send the information on the retreat. If you're interested, then please mark the dates off in your calendar, and we'll have options for single accommodation and for sharing accommodation. Then we're going to be launching our Bali Soul Healing Adventure. The dates are fixed, 25 to September to 7 October. We already have our program mapped out. We've got the pricing set up. We just are busy developing the actual portal where you can, sign up and book your spot. So you'll be able to pay a deposit and pay it off between now and September, well, probably end August. And it's our experience last year in Bali was just truly, really, really, I can't even explain it to you. It is totally, totally unexpected, the kind of shift and the kind of change that happened. And the life lessons that we got along the way. There were sprinkles of surprises and just amazing experiences that we had. So Jackson and I will be sharing a lot of that information. You can go and see some photographs on our website. We've got lots of photographs and content on the website already. But this is a truly soul shifting experience. Okay, so the adventure, there's going to be quite a bit of walking. Bali is hot, so you can start going and practicing now and getting relatively fit because they've got lots of stairs there, but it is phenomenal. So we do everything. We try to incorporate as much as possible into the program from an adventure perspective. Do you want to say anything before we, Jax, add anything before we move on to Golden Key?
Just one thing. I keep on telling people I'm not the same as I was before I went to Bali. I'm now a new person.
Me too.
And it's taken, that was in September, October, November, December, January. We're going into February. 6 months to fully integrate the shift that happened in Bali. But I can honestly say I'm not the same person. And the shift has been a shift in my frequency. I am now like my sovereign self. That's the golden key shift is I'm now in my sovereign frequency. So it's incredibly powerful, that shift. I mean, everybody's shift will be different because it
Mm.
is a very uniquely personal experience, but that was my shift. So I'll be talking about that a lot more over the next few months.
Oh, my word. My mouse got all excited there.
Okay, it's 2037, so we just need to
Okay,
be
well,
mindful of
we're
people's
almost
time.
done here. Okay, and then followed by the Golden Key program, which is going to be in Gilead, and this is an intensive, you know, what kind of program do we call it? It's a soul healing.
It's a deep dive. It's a deep dive transformational program.
Yeah.
So before last time we ran the adventure and the deep healing together. This time we've split out the deep healing work so that we've created a really sacred container for intensely focused transformation work for people who really want to transform their lives. They're not just going for a fun adventure with a little smidge of healing on the top. This is the real work. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So basically people can choose whether they just want to do the soul healing adventure or whether they want to do the combination of the two. And that is entirely up to you where you are on your journey in life. Then we are going to take this to Japan in 2027. So watch this space and pop that into your calendar as well. And our next free webinar,
And
which
start
is,
saving.
yes,
Start saving now.
start saving and start getting fit because we like to go and walk and play and do all sorts of interesting things on our adventures. So March's webinar is going to be on the 5th of March, and we're going to talk about the power of presence and learning to live fully in the now. So I think that is going to be a very apt discussion, and pop that into your calendar as well. Mark, I see you are smiling there.
Done it.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today. We really, really appreciate your support, and look out for our email. It'll probably come through over the weekend or by Monday at the latest, because we're going to supply you with a link to the recording. We're going to send you the script for the practice that we went through on our call today. We're also going to send you the details of how to book if you want to join us on the Heart Walk on the 15th. And we'll keep you informed as soon as our membership portal goes live and bookings open for Breathe and for Bali. Okay, anything else before we close? No? Thank you so much, and take care, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Love having you here.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.